I just cut the stream. Now I'm starting it again. Bart. I stopped it because I was checking to see if the stream key was plugged in. He's like, I don't see it. I don't see it. So I was like, okay, I'll go look. I'll go. Before it just disappears again. It is not I that was betrayed. Hold on. Firstly, it's not even my fault. Secondly, the guest flakes. Thirdly, Bart didn't even schedule this and didn't even inform me it was scheduled, so I couldn't even integrate anything. Didn't send me the stream key until like literally 5 seconds ago. You say, we're late, we're late. Well, yeah, we're late. We don't have a stream key. That 7 minutes does not equate to half an hour. So technically, 20 of those minutes are still on Barch. Only 7 of those meager minutes are my fault, so that's okay. The Blizz Boy is dead, chat. He was murdered by Arch, and his neck is snapped. He's dead. I'm sorry. Happens. Happens. Uh-oh. Speaking of incompetence. Hold on. I love you, Blondie, but...
What did you ruin this time?
Nothing. Just a little. We might have a slight. A little. Like I said, it's just a small issue. It's just a relatively. Well, say something now.
I will fucking strangle you one day.
They had eardrums. I am so sorry, chat. You do not have ears anymore. Try to say something. They're fucking deaf.
No.
I'm sorry. Listen. I don't know how that happened.
God damn you.
They're fine. I just need to... What the fuck? Alright, just keep talking. Keep talking. Chat, you're...
Every single solitary week.
How in the fuck do I have to do minus 15 decibels is beyond me. Listen. Streamlabs updates all the time. Streamlabs updates break thing historically. Streamlabs can easily take the blame today. But now you can hear him, right, guys? Right.
I want to point out I pay him for this.
He does. Exorbitantly. Chat, by the way, send him more supers. Cha-ching. There, I think I fixed it.
Are you finished breaking things? I want to point out I pay him for this.
You do pay me for past Arch.
Oh.
I can hear you. I'm just double checking things. Now, I will take the blame for that, but I will not take the blame for us being late. That is your fault. I don't know how that happened though. Surprises. Technology is fascinating, chat. Fascinating.
And very difficult for certain people.
How the fuck did that mute that? It set its default to $456 $. Like, what even is that audio device? I do not know.
Well, you might not even know, but that is a question irrelevant at the moment. So, E3 is dead. How do you feel?
See, when I was a little child, I thought E3 was cool because, like, new games are being announced, you know? I was excited. That was naivety. That was stupidity. When I grew up, I realized that that was dumb and the whole thing's an industry sham and I don't care anymore. But how about you? Do you care?
I do agree that Kylie is a stupid child.
Wow. Wow. Rude.
I'm going to have to go hard on that for a little bit now after these technical difficulties. But, I mean, E3 was It was the giant. It was the thing. It was the show. It was the biggest thing in gaming. And every year, everyone was falling over themselves to cover E3. Even when E3 was basically just garbage, everyone still covered it. If for no other reason than to snark at it. Like, that was how massive of an entity E3 was.
That's true. And that has seemingly changed. Honestly, I haven't heard much about it. The only thing I do know is that the Skaven RP was canceled because Dev wanted to cover this.
Fucking Dev. Break his nuts.
I cannot believe. Well, let's not cancel, it's postponed, but still. Absurd.
And the worst part is, too, it's not for lack of games, because we're like, Steam is currently doing their own little E3 thing, the summer scorching blah 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 that they're currently doing, right?
Yep, like there are summer sales already going on. Pretty cool.
There's definitely a thing that they're doing, and it's been lasting for ages, and they've had their own little live streams, their own little events. Basically, they've been running virtual E3, even as virtual E3 was cancelled. I want to point out, too, the year before this, they cancelled E3 and had it like virtual, and the year before that, they were like, coronavirus, and had to cancel it again. I think this is the third like cancellation in a row, but this year they didn't even do an online event, so it was just dead. And they're promising to totally do one next year, which... Is E3 even going to be alive in 2022? Is anybody going to care?
Probably not. I hope not. Now, if we could just get the Games Awards to die, then I'd be happy. Another sham.
I think the Games Awards pretty much are dead.
It's like, so we, the industry, decided to jack off and say how good we are. Yes, you're quite good.
See, that can work. I mean, the fucking music has been doing this for decades, and people still watch it in the millions.
The only award that has ever mattered to me in any tournament or anything, if it isn't like, who won first place award, so to speak, is People's Choice. People's Choice is the only answer. The people will decide. Yes.
The people. You mean the people dumb enough to watch a goddamn award show? I don't trust those people. I think those people are dumb.
People's Choice is the only award that matters, because that means what the vast majority of the plebeians voted for. It's like, what's the best RTS?
Those people need to be defeated.
I mean, most people are stupid, so,
Not
details.
Not necessarily in honorable combat either.
But it's certainly preferable than the self-masturbatory practices of the gaming awards.
Oh god, I went backhand. There we go. All right. But the interesting thing, nevertheless, is we've got so many games, so many ridiculous games, to the point that Steam has their own presentation, which I think lasted for 5 or 6 hours. And it's literally just kind of scrolling through the Steam upcoming list, like, look, 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 but in a fancy fuck-off format. And yet, the gaming show has never been deader. And it's in large part, it's because of the massive change in the development of games. Like, E3 was the AAA playground, that's where all the big boys went. And that's why it had so much prestige. E3 wasn't cool because it was, a trade show made by a bunch of Californians or whatever the fuck, in Florida, or wherever the hell it takes place. I don't even know. Nor do I care. It was big because Sony was there, Nintendo was there, Bethesda was there, EA was there, Blizzard was there, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm. Centralized.
Yeah. The problem is now, Nintendo has their own show. Like, Sony's got their own fucking show. EA is dead, so they don't get to have their own show, but, yeah. Details. And every one of these can do whatever they want at any point in time, whenever they want, for however long they want. Like, if Bethesda wanted to announce the 17th delay, for example, to Starfield, they don't need to go to E3. They can just do it from the comforts of their own basement. Yeah, we're delaying the Starfield again, and everyone would just be like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we already saw that coming. Yeah, that's the thing. The age of the internets has brought about the Well, we don't need to go to these big conventions. Big conventions don't need to exist. And while it is kind of interesting to see that disappear or be heading out, it was interesting when we did have it because you got to see, like, you know, the booth babes and so to speak and stuff like that. There was an interesting culture around it, but all that's going to.
Those were very problematic, Kyle, and I'm ashamed of you for bringing that up.
He's like, I don't like titties. Well, see, you're gay and I'm not, so that's your problem.
I have and always have disavowed the inhumane, barbaric practices of hiring women to do jobs.
This is why you design the female characters in your IP to be super sexy. That way, when people cosplays them, you have very good things. Unless they, well, you know what I mean. Unless they're not. I don't need to elaborate.
This also sees the breaking up of these companies, though. So this was something rather interesting that V started badgering me about a couple of days ago. Ex-Blizzard devs launched Stormgate, a cool new Diablo StarCraft hybrid, free-to-play mobile, blah 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 blah. Like it's just a series of listed words from the Blizzard vocabulary, basically. Even as the game itself also looked decidedly Blizzard-y on top of it all. And this is like the 50th studio now created by ex-Blizzard developers.
Honestly, when I see ex-Blizzard developers, I'm like, the minute I see a game from them, like, I'm sorry, it's a stereotype, I think disappointment and failure.
It's pretty cruel.
It's become synonymous with being associated with Blizzard, though. Like, what ex-Blizzard developer has really broke new grounds and shattered my expectations? And when I think about it, the answer is always a resounding silent no. There's nothing. There isn't a single damn thing I can think of. You name one damn thing that Blizzard ex-devs have done that is still wiggling, that is still relevant today. Right now. Do it.
That's pretty cruel.
It's cruel, but it's reality. And reality isn't kind.
There was another what, Yeti something?
Yeti.
Yeti
I don't even
something?
know.
I think there was something about a Yeti thing game with other Blizzard developers.
What? Never heard of it.
Frost Storms. There's been a ton of these, and I don't think a lot of them have actually produced anything yet. Like, there's been a lot of projects that have had a handful of screenshots, like this thing here, where you have the StarCraft Marines, but with fins on their backs, fighting Diablo, but with wings.
I mean, I think Diablo had wings. Diablo 3, though.
Did he? Are you sure about that?
I don't remember. Diablo 3 was very forgettable. I remember.
Not to mention, do we consider Diablo 3 to be official canon of anything?
Some people sadly do.
Well, those people are fucking wrong.
True.
See, I'm trying to find it now and I can't.
Call of Yeti, said somebody in chat. Frost Giant Studios.
Frost Giant Studios is one of them. Second Dinner is another one. It's a very dev studio.
Second Dinner.
Frost Giant Studios. Let's look at that one. Because I remember we talked about them ages ago. Like a year ago. Have they actually,
Sent me it yet?
So they're the ones working on the Stormgate thing, are they?
Are they? I don't know. Image credit Frost Giant. Oh, that's what they were working on? Oh, it's gonna...
That doesn't sound like what they were talking about, though. Jesus, what the fuck? Yeah, that was not at all what I thought they were working on.
Well, it looks like they're working on another generic MOBA game. Oh boy. Now, we haven't seen much gameplay about it, so we can't really... Like, there isn't much to go on. The trailer is like a friggin' monster going, like, rear, and the person's, like, shooting it, and it's kind of, like... kind of boring, but, I'll let chat be the judge of that.
Okay. Here you have their site. It's got Diablo on it. It's got that chick from StarCraft. It's got Ragnar the Viking down to the right there, and you've got a Zergling.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Got, I don't know why. This is a personal thing. But I do not like this art style. This Western sort of style. It just doesn't click for me. But let's take a look at what they have though. Next generation esports. Oh, ever expanding universe. Additional chapters. Stormgate sci-fi campaign will be released regularly alongside units and maps. Oh, so like episodic release. I thought we established in the industry that just doesn't work anymore. I mean, there's a first for everything.
Well, it can work. It absolutely can
The
work.
first truly
Now, what I'm
social
worried about
RTS. What does that mean?
Yeah, I was about to say that one is the one that has me worried. Like a truly social RTS.
Can I play it on Twitter? What does that mean? Oh, customize your army in 3-player co-op. See, that sounds fun. Versus AI mode or tackle cooperative campaign missions. That also sounds fun. But that's the first truly social RTS. I get what they're meaning. They're like, oh, it's completely cooperative multiplayer. Well, that's also a lie, because that's not the first, and there have been others in the past. Red Alert 3 actually has already done that. So, that's not the first.
There's also, of course, next generation esports play 1v1 ladder games. And kind of social. Well, I mean, killing other people is cooperative in a fashion, I guess.
Getting called the N-word is the truly social experience. But that's
I must
not
also
true,
point out, like, they're calling this an RTS, but boy, does this look dangerously MOBA-y.
It's more hero-based RTS, and from what I've seen so far, it looks more down the lines of MOBA. It's not even Warcraft 3 level, where there's base building, but you still had heroes. But again, there isn't enough gameplay to really go on it yet. Not a big fan of the art style. Personally, I smell, if I was to give this an accurate assessment, or any assessment that I can give, I immediately suspect that this game will be one of those games people will be like, oh yeah, that existed. I hope to God I'm wrong, though. Because, boy, would it be nice to actually get an RTS that isn't one of those forgettable games. See, the co-op functionality is the only thing that really catches my interest. Free to play. What kind of microtransaction scammy things are we going to have to deal with?
Well, that's, of course, an interesting topic, because we've got the other Blizzard game.
No!
Yay, look, Diablo Immortal. It's worse than Genshin Impact. We need more waifu games instead. I agree. Also, I'm pretty sure the Stormgate cinematic literally uses sound bites from StarCraft, just to point that out too.
But yeah, but one thing about StarCraft actually does use a lot of, what's it called? Open source sound effects, if I remember right. So they can technically do it, but I personally think that's dumb, because now you're tethering yourself back to StarCraft. When you want to break away from something, you want people to look at you and be like, you're nothing like what you were, especially considering what StarCraft has become.
Or maybe because of what StarCraft has become, they want people to think, oh, StarCraft, but good again.
Wow, StarCraft. See, StarCraft was gritty,
I mean,
from when I remember it.
That's the point of Diablo Immortal here. Diablo Immortal exists solely to make you think, oh hey, Diablo was a video game I once enjoyed. I would like to play this video game I once enjoyed. And now, to be fair, I know there's been a lot of headlines going around saying they would require like $100,000 to max rank your characters and stuff. That was apparently based on some rather faulty math on behalf of the person who first came up with this. And Blizzard has since denied this and put forth the actual numbers from like their end. It's still ridiculously expensive. They're still talking potentially thousands of bucks, but not quite as ridiculous. And of course, there's the usual justification from the developer side, like, you don't have to spend all the money you've ever had on our video game. We just want you to.
Here, I'm going to read this quote because it makes me want to scream a little. If there is one thing I've taken away from MTX takes of Diablo Immortal, it's how people have never dived deep into mobile gaming. So many feel like this is the downfall of gaming, when in reality, these systems have existed for years, but the sky isn't falling. Problem is you've taken an IP that was never part of this whole charade, and you've put it into that. So people view it as a downfall because it's a huge downgrade.
Well, that's one of the interesting things. So, what I find interesting here is comparing it to Genshin Impact, right? Which is an interesting comparison because Genshin Impact, in my opinion, is probably the mobile game that has done the most out of virtually all the mobile titles. Because mobile gaming once had a very a bright future. People would think like, oh God, gaming on the go, Jesus Christ, isn't this some magical bullshit? And the Switch, for example, has, by and large, actually managed to capitulate, there you go, on that. And it did turn out to be massive, but the problem was 98% of the mobile games were goddamn awful rip-offs with the minimum amount of effort put into them, the minimum amount of time, the minimum amount of design, and just shat out the door to a bored audience of frustrated housewives who needed something to plink plonk at in between trying to fuck their brooms.
Mm-hmm. But that's interesting that we bring that up though. But look at, because mobile gaming has begun to evolve finally.
Yes, I mean, Genshin Impact. No matter what you think about it, it is a huge world by mobile standards. Definitively, it's got lots of characters. It's got lots of combo attacks. It's got the mechanical system of switching out between the three for different attacks. You set people on fire, then you cool them down, vice versa, etc. It's got game mechanics in a proper game. It's got a large open world. It has a story. It's got voice acting. It's got a ton of shit that we would normally consider to be, standard JRPG fare. Genshin Impact is in many ways certainly not inferior and some superior to many full-scale JRPGs, and yet it's a free-to-play mobile game.
Yep, and we're starting to see the mobile gaming market evolve. As I think the big bottleneck was the technology wasn't there. Like, you can play Company Heroes on your phone. You can play Knights of the Old Republic on your phone. You can do a lot more than you could before. So, as the mobile gaming scene develops, a lot of these mobile gamers are finally seeing, for the first time, well, real games and what they have to offer. So, as their tastes are changing and evolving forward, that's actually going to reflect on the rest of the industry as a whole, because they're also going to get sick of that bog standard, formula, the Facebook game formula that was the norm back then.
Oh, there we go. Finally got him. I was looking at the chat and I'm like, why is nobody's talking anything? And then I double clicked on it, like, oh, it's because he wasn't loading. That's why.
He's like, my chat dead. They're still wiggling.
Genshin is good, but Honkai Impact better. I haven't played that. I need to play more mobile games, honestly. I really do. I really do.
You mean play the mobile games that have a little bit of effort put into them?
Yeah, I mean, Girls Frontline is doing it too. I'm probably going to look into that. They were Genshin Impact devs were making a new game as well that looks pretty cool. Like, I'm thinking maybe mobile gaming could be pretty interesting over the years. And here's another thing as well, right? The evolution of gaming has changed drastically just over the couple of last years. And E3 really is emblematic about this, which is why I came up with this as the emergency topic for today. Because E3 was the big boy show. Everyone was like, rah, 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 look at our big ass video games. Now, fewer and fewer people are actually interested in their big ass video games because a lot of the developers have lost a huge amount of their credibility and their clout. And we're seeing more and more smaller games like Genshin Impact, created by some no-name Chinese studio, which is now raking in the millions like nobody's goddamn business. Battlefield Unknown, stupid ass PUBG Player Unknown Malware. That was the name of the dumbass thing. That thing emerged out of nowhere, and the dude is now shitting in a gold-plated toilet whilst wiping his ass with mother-of-pearl handkerchiefs. This was unimaginable just a few years previously, and it's all online games as well. Because I remember, oh god, chat.
Oh,
do you want
boy.
to come with me on a tale of horror, of pain, of suffering, of misery, and a little bit of butthurt? Just put up this picture here, Carl. Just put that up there.
Company here is online. What is that?
Yes. So, chat, allow me to tell you a beautiful tale here about a game called Company of Heroes Online. Because Company of Heroes was the big boy, the big cheese, the big boy on the block. It was magic. Everyone loved Company of Heroes Online. The first no's are beginning to trickle in. Good, good. And THQ, no, I think THQ was dead at the time. Relic was thinking to itself, God damn it, how can we earn some bloody money of our franchise? Because we haven't made anything good in years. We're creatively bankrupt. We're just a bunch of Canadians. We've realized this suddenly. We're goddamn Canadians. We have no talent by definition.
Fair enough.
So they were trying to make Company of Heroes Online, which was Company of Heroes 1, but online. Dun, 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 dun. And it had microtransactions, it had rare units, it had rare drops, and it had unique units, where, for example, you had the MG42, except you had Das Vaterland MG42, which had the beautiful ability to move at like 50% increased speed within its own territory, which meant that one of these MGs, properly microed, could defeat the entire enemy army, because when you tried to flank it, it would just go like, Hans, pick up some machine gun and zoom off into the distance, reset up, and suppress your squad again.
That's fun, though.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
See, it's funny because you see those similar design decisions bleed over into Company Heroes 2's multiplayer, actually, with loot crates, supply drops, units that you have to unlock and grind for, or buy officers. You had to buy commanders in Company Heroes 2. Company Heroes 2 took what they did here, even though it failed, and still did it anyways.
Though, to be fair, they avoided a lot of the truly awful ones. Like, I can see chat has had some traumatic experiences with this game. So let me tell you a couple more stories, because chat points out the Rangers. Ah, yes, the Rangers. I was active on the game's forums back then, because I was so optimistic, like, God damn it, make this a good video game, please. And the Rangers. So the Rangers in the base game were a unit of like elite American infantry, and they had like SMGs and little bazookas and whoosh-whooshes and stuff, and they were pretty cool. They're pretty cool, you know. But in COH Online, they removed the veterancy from call-in units. So there was no real reason to preserve them, because they couldn't level up, they couldn't get better, and they came on the field with their SMGs and their bazookas. Now, that alone wouldn't be so bad. It's like, okay, an elite infantry squad, but, you know, you can't really level them up, so you're going to use them a little bit carelessly. All right, not the worst thing. But the doctrine that got them also got another doctrine, which was called, like, the American meat grinder or something, that replaced all the munitions cost and manpower. Like, it cost like 200 munitions, I think, and it replaced all manpower and munitions lost within a small period of time. So what people would do was they would call in ridiculous quantities of Rangers, like 8 to 9 squads, and they would then rush them at the enemy, activate that ability, get them all killed by literally just walking into machine guns, tanks, whatever, killing as much as they can. And for those 200 munitions, you would get like 2,000 manpower returned. And so you could call in all the Ranger squads again. And you could just keep doing this.
That's bullshit. But I also remember another RTS that went online. Age of Empires Online. I remember being a kid going like, oh, Age of Empires Online, this sounds so cool. I remember there was, and chat brings up, there was something that you could do where you could get the peasants to run in circles, and they could outrun cavalry and build castles. That was the most cancerous thing. Yeah, no, anytime these games try to do that, that gets really shit. And it's Company Heroes and Age of Empires Online aren't the first to do things like that.
Kyle, I'm sure you have a very good point here, but I'm not done.
See, we could go on at length forever.
I am not finished. There was a super rare drop, and back then I was playing video games with a trader's son of a whore by the name of Voldog. And we looked at the heroes, and there was a sniper we both really wanted, because we liked playing with the snipers. There was a hero sniper class, like an epic or something. And we won a game, and you would get drops at the end of the game, which could include unit cards. And we were like, oh my god, Voldog, you got the sniper. And Aldo was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god, you got the sniper. And it took us like 5 minutes of girlish squealing like two fucking valley whores to realize we both got the sniper. And we leveled that guy up, and he had the most ridiculous special rules I've ever seen. First and foremost, he fired like a fucking M1 Garand, like bang, 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 bang. He could kill entire squads in fucking seconds. And best part is, when fully leveled up and veteran, he recloaked in 0.5 seconds.
I don't care.
He was so amazing because he broke the game completely. You now had a single sniper that could wipe out entire infantry squad. He could kill jeeps sent to hunt him down, and he was permanently invisible.
This is bullshit. Also, chat says that my mic's picking up extra sounds. Hold on a sec. I will attempt to fix it without trying to break it.
It was a fantastic little video game. And it was also the beginning of the predatory microtransaction concept. Because that's the thing. Diablo Immortal this is nothing new for Blizzard. Blizzard has shitty microtransaction and loot boxes throughout their entire goddamn history, pretty much. I mean, Overwatch, for example, had a super abusive economy, but nobody cared. Why? Because it was Blizzard. I mean, it came out... didn't it come out before Battlefront 2, the space Star Warsy whoopity game?
The one that got so much negative PR that they gutted the mechanic completely? Yeah.
Yes, and it was dragged through the mud like a freshly gutted Frenchman during the Revolution. Yet Overwatch, which did pretty much the exact same thing, nobody cared. Nobody gave that a second look.
Overwatch, if I remember right, the only thing that you could buy were cosmetics. There was no gameplay stuff, to my knowledge. That's when I played it, though. But that wasn't for very long.
What a gay-ass little gib.
Well, I don't know if what you're saying is actually true. Now, they did have loot boxes, though, where you could get, like, custom skins, custom voice lines, custom spray paints, you know, useless garbage. But that was all I remember. No gameplay stuff.
All of these dumbass little things. And Blizzard got away with it because they were Blizzard. Now they're trying to get away with it again. And by and large, they've probably already succeeded. The Diablo Immortal uproar, there's been a little bit of anger at it, sure. But bearing in mind, too, they already got away with this once. In Diablo 3 with the real money auction house, which they milked for as long as they could. And then, when Diablo 3 was no longer really a big seller, they went like, oh, we're removing the real-life auction house. Yes, it was a mistake. We see that now. And they got yet another wave of positive PR and publicity for doing what they should have done to goddamn begin with. This is an old game for Blizzard.
You mean Activision?
No, Blizzard. And... this has been better. Like this, it's a slow evolution of things. Once more, COHO, awful microtransactions. Diablo Immortal, even worse microtransactions because they can get away with it. Meanwhile, I mean, Genshin Impact charges you for hero characters, which frankly add diddly dick nothing to most of the game. Most of them are not that particularly strong or particularly useful, nor are they tied to like particularly difficult dungeons or something. Some might make things a little bit easier and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's almost as much as a .jpeg collection service as, you know, stuff like Azure Lane, etc. And yet people are, of course, willing to spend money on it. Ridiculous amounts of money on it. Even as AAA gaming is earning less and less and less. Maybe what we need is not an E3, we need a E-Mobile 3. That's what we need. We're just... all of the .jpeg farms get together and talk about their .jpegs. I think that would be funny.
That sounds incredibly boring.
I don't know about that.
It sounds incredibly... I mean, we played Genshin Impact. You got so bored of it that you quit after you dumped how much money into it to get characters right off the bat? You whale. Arch is
but that's
guilty.
Because funny.
And we have that on
Genshin
stream.
Impact was a fair bit of fun for a while, but the problem is the smart move they made is that these new heroes, they don't necessarily add all that much. Well, they do add different attack patterns. So if you wanted something a little bit different than what you'd been grinding with so far, well, crack open that wallet. And they, of course, also follow the ancient tradition of making hot waifu characters and then going, yes. And so we do. So we do.
Ah. I remember, but we played Genshin Impact, and I remember Arch was so disappointed with that game. The boredom really
the problem
kicked
was
in there.
there wasn't a whole lot of
It was
there wasn't a whole lot of late game, shall we say?
It was incredibly simplistic.
Yes. In many ways, it was.
But at the same time, it was also, for a mobile game, remarkably in-depth, which is the irony there. Because it actually had a lot more to it than most mobile games have rolling.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But to bring this back to the whole idea of modern-day gaming again in E3. So, I talked about it a little bit already, but the Steam has that whole summer thingity-bob sale. Let me see if I can find a
Proper
link for it. And Dev barely covered it and streamed games instead. Ah, well, chat, you should kill Dev for being derelict in his duties. I have no other solution for you. Lord of the Rings Online early days had predatory microtransaction. Practically all of the MMOs tried and dipped their toes into a little bit of that stuff.
Nothing like a little bit of predatory microtransactions. But the cool thing about the Battlefront 2 EA game, which we kind of glossed over, was the fact that they actually gutted that. They gutted it completely. Like, it was removed entirely. So, it's quite funny if you ever pick it up when it's like $5 on sale and play it co-op with a friend, because it's actually not half bad. But, it's interesting because you can see the loot box thing, because when you unlock gear, it appears in a loot box, but it just gives you what you want. I always thought that was quite hilarious. But that goes to show that being vocal is actually extremely important. And people were vocal enough that EA actually managed to turn the game around with the Clone Wars updates. And then right when the game was starting to get better, they pulled the plug on it. Like EA always does anytime they start to make the right move. They're like, well, actually, how can we fuck ourselves here? Let's pull the plug on this game and let's divert resources to Battlefield 2042. And that turned out
because
swell.
Nobody wanted to play it. And just simps like you were like, oh, it's getting better, EA. Like, they don't care.
It was actually kind of fun.
Is what they said.
You even said it was fun when we played it together, you little monkey, on stream. You're just like, my narrative is...
I don't know about that.
Your narrative is falling apart. We have video evidence. Barch was giggling.
I don't know about that.
Giggling in an ATSD, and then giggling as he exploded. Because he couldn't get inside the...
Also, Kyle.
face.
I know that you are a senile old woman, but,
Right, woman. I called you the woman. Wow, summer announcements. Like, we're making games, like we do every year. Thank you, Steam.
There you go. So, their little event thingity here. I like to see at the bottom there, too, you've actually got the Xbox and the PC gamer, who's a gaming show, blah, 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 and Capcom having their own shows. Like, Steam has become the online E3 by just being like, yeah, we're going to restream other people's presentations.
Well, they also talked to get integrated. Also, the Tard burglars at Sony have started to end exclusivity. This is actually rather interesting. A lot of their games are coming to PC. Granted, they do first release on their stuff, but even that shitty fucking Last of Us game is coming to PC. Now, I don't give a shit about those games, to be honest, but I do care about console exclusivity and exclusive contracts and stuff like that, and I can't wait to see that finally come to an end, if that is true. Because these corporations, even microcunts included, are starting to end exclusivity. If we could just push for that to really stop, that could be good for the whole industry.
It's basically already over.
I kind of hope, though, but it's not entirely, because there actually is a lot of exclusivity deals still going on. Ending exclusivity will be good for the unity of players across the globe. So we can build a one-world player government.
Just gotta worry about Epic, that's all.
People are really like, look up Pal World. That's the monkey game. No, monkey. Pokemon game with the guns, right? That you shoot the Pokemon instead of capture them.
It is. Kyle has remembered something for once. This is a rarity, and I do not expect it to repeat.
I remember
Ever.
more than you old bastard. He's like,
What I find so very... oh god, it's actually still going on. It's been streaming for 4 hours, 5 minutes. Jesus Christ. Painful, in a way.
Possums is trying to simp as hard as he can. How's that dick taste, Possums? You sick fuck. Pretty good. Oh, E3 showed up Watch Dogs 1 with graphics. Yeah, I remember that. That was... And then we get the actual Watch Dogs game and it's like, this looks like potato. Like, this is super bad. Because they actually... That was all just a lie. That wasn't even just the first game that did that. Goddamn Aliens Colonial Marines. You guys remember that? Where there was the trailer and it looked kind of cool, but it looked a little flawed. And then we get the actual game and it's just an absolutely gutted piece of trash. That was painful.
Is normal. Now, if you click on the future of play one thing there.
Future of what?
And
a future of play.
The future of play. Yes.
It's a bunch
and
of indies.
You just start scrolling down. And just start scrolling down. Just start future play. Start scrolling down. Look at that.
The future
is a literally
indie.
Endless list of samey ass fucking shell shaded 2D art style shit. It is a deluge of the exact same goddamn video game.
I've never played these games, but for the girls, the gays, and days. Oh,
days. Just Steam. Yep.
Help me! These aren't even good indies.
If you took away,
what's that one?
If you took away the title for half of these, you wouldn't even be able to tell them apart. You would not be able to tell whether or not they were simply screenshots for one another.
There's a real video game in here I found. Shipbreakers. That was fun. Shipbreakers got fucking awesome music. Game. Yeah, chat. Look, a video game. Like, this one's actually pretty good. Most of these I'm looking at like I don't recognize. Think Shipbreakers
I wouldn't expect it.
Is the only thing I've seen in here that's like that's a video game. Oh,
in fact, I would frankly expect your eyes to just glaze over as you see this parade of sameness.
I mean, these all kind of look the same, like generic. Like this looks like shovelware indie, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Shovelware indie games are garbage.
Indie has become. Indie has been another one of those things that hasn't had its rise and renaissance just yet, like mobile gaming. Mobile gaming, people are like, oh my god, this will be amazeballs, fantastic, mucho fun.
Well, actually, the renaissance for the indie is already going on right now. The rise of it is, we have Factorio, we've got Valheim, we've got all these other. There's so many indies.
Yeah, just like you had some good mobile games too during the shovelware period.
Yeah, but the thing is that the shovelware period's never gonna stop. It's going to go on forever. It will never end.
Isn't it though? That's the question. Because right now,
it really won't.
I believe indie gaming is in the shovelware section of mobile gaming, where mobile gaming was at a point too, where you see just an endless array of samey looking game, same art style, same general presentation, and all of them are like, look, we're very indie special, look, we've got a rainbow, look, I'm homosexual, look, I make burgers in space, blah blah blah.
Well, the thing is,
this is the shovelware period.
This period will never end. This period started in like the early 2000s as game making became easier, and because it became easier, it became more profitable, so more developers can make games. Almost anyone, actually no, rephrase, anyone can make a video game. Anyone in chat can do it right now. There's nothing stopping them. There's free software to do it. You can go and make a game right now. No one's gonna stop you. Anybody can do it.
Absolutely. But as the years go on and the novelty of this starts wearing off, fewer and fewer people actually simply because the gold rush period will begin to abate. And we're beginning to see this in mobile gaming, where there are a few titans emerging that are probably going to be the domineering powers for, pretty much ever until somebody comes up with the next gold age. For example, the Clash of Clans shit, for example, or the Genshin Impacts, the enormous titles that just start taking over the market and becoming the dominant forces.
Yeah, but the thing is with the gold rush is anyone can do it. Like, anyone can make a game right now and release it. And that's just you're not gonna really see that abate too much from where it is now, because it's a global market.
I absolutely think it will, because if you'll even just look at the thumbnails of a lot of these games, they're all the kind of, oh, I had a super special magical idea game. It is the good idea fairy of video games, where everyone thinks they've got a best-selling novel in them, and most people probably don't.
Yep, and people
I
still
believe
do that.
And that will begin abating significantly as people begin to see the amount of stuff. And bearing in mind, too, most of these things are at the end of lengthy development sequences themselves. And people will begin to realize that hitting it big on this is, hard. Doesn't mention the amount of time and investment and personal effort required.
But, like, I honestly don't really think the indies are gonna abate. Just from being part of the indie market already. Like, it's only been growing. And it generally is probably going to continue to inflate for the foreseeable future.
I don't think so. Like, I think we are in the shovelware process right now. We'll probably remain in the shovelware process for maybe another 4 or 5 years, probably. But this ridiculous number will begin abating as the market will begin to settle down a little bit more. If anything, we're probably then going to move on to the next golden age, which people thought it would be NFTs. It wasn't, but NFTs aren't gone. It might happen again. The next gold rush is probably going to be the meta bullshit, where that begins emerging. When somebody makes a breakthrough of the social game style again, and then we'll see, a VR world, but actually large. And then people will start making shovelware for that instead. Crazy Templar says that's what the housing market was saying right up until 2007-8. True.
Yeah, but I don't know. With the games industry, it's not something like, it's a very different thing. With the housing market, not everybody could just walk into it. It was not so easy. It never was.
Well, yes. No. Like, that was exactly the problem. Anyone could walk into it. Like, that was what caused the entire housing market crash. Incredibly bad loans being given out to anyone and everyone.
Well, it was also a little bit of the Democrats, but and the other political things that were going on. There was a lot more going on than just anybody could walk into it.
Well, no, again, like, mostly the housing crash was an economic thing. Like, yes, the aftermath was very political, and the allowance for it was very political. But again, the point was anyone and everyone could do it, regardless of their ability to actually service a loan. And that was the problem.
I don't know. Personally, I just don't see it.
Quite the same, though. In a way, we already have seen it. Like, if you go on 7 Seas, for example, one of those NFT sites, you will see a bajillion, zillion, trillion, billion NFTs, and most of them are worth nothing because the gold rush has come and the gold rush has moved on. Now, in the case of NFTs, it moved on a lot quicker because it just wasn't the market people thought it was. But in case of gaming, gaming is that market and will remain that market for a little while. If you go back to the previous screen and look at the other various tabs, you'll see the sheer amount of video games being made. And we're not just talking indies here. We're talking also like the bigger budget games. The sheer fucking quantity of it is astounding.
Well, the games industry is continuing to grow. Like, it's been growing for a very long time. It's one of the biggest entertainment industries now, and it will probably continue to grow as it continues to expand.
Well, there is a saturation point there, as with everything else, but the big deal with video gaming is that it's been reaching into the third world in ways that previous forms of entertainment simply has not been able to do. TV, for example, or movies have been heavily censored in pretty much all other nations because it's really easy to intercept. If you don't want to have friends in China, you can simply just refuse to broadcast it using the Chinese networks. Gaming is harder because unless you're going to cut to the internet cable full stop, it's very difficult to block it out. Like, the Chinese have tried really hard, and yet people are still using Google in China. Google is still one of the leading search engines in a country that bans Google. And Steam, of course, is still graylisted in China to the point where like they don't actually approve it, but they're not going to stop it yet. Of course, that is probably a question of time also, and they are still actively trying to block certain segments of it. But that is an enormous market. As India, for example, too, another tremendous market, begins moving up in the world, people get a higher living standard, people get access to internet more often. Oh god, Africa. When widespread internet usage finally hits Africa, with, again, the ability to, for digital platforms like Steam, to do asshole this shit like regional pricing and go like, okay, you live in Zimbabwe, right? You're not going to have any money, so we're going to sell you the digital product for $3. Oh, hey, you're American. 60.
Well, regional pricing is a thing for just that reason.
Yes. And hey, it makes sense. I mean, fuck. We do regional pricing a great deal in the physical market as well, because you want to get into certain markets and they just don't have as much money, so there you go. Although I do get really annoyed when Steam is like, sorry, you might save your friend $5 on purchasing this video game and gifting them to them. We can't have that.
Yep.
Fuck you, Steam.
That's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it, Barge. I can buy that. I already bought that game. We'll be streaming that this Sunday anyway. It's out of the RP because we've been betrayed by Dev.
Chat says, like, they've seen games being made for the metaverse. Yep, definitely. And that is going to happen. And that's one of the reasons, again, why we're currently seeing the bloat. And while we're going to see the bloat continue for quite a while, because the gold rush in gaming is still ongoing. You still got the games that just, boom, blow up out of goddamn nowhere. The latest example, V Rising. The developers were like, we're making a dumbass game about vampires. It's going to be cliched as fuck. We're going to have the same graphic as everyone else. We're going to have the little anime vampire. Nobody's going to love our game. And then they released it and everyone's like, this is exactly what we've been looking for. Thank you.
Yep, this happened with Valheim. This happened with Terraria. This happened with Minecraft. And it's
kind of PUBG. And the biggest one of them all, sus.
Fortnite, Among Us.
No.
All those games.
Among Us, there you go.
Yeah, Fortnite's also big.
Oh god.
That was an accidental success too.
No, it wasn't accidental. That was an opportunistic cunt move. That's what that was.
They switched their game because their game was originally a tower defense game, and then they're like, wait, they saw PUBG, and then they just so happened to switch it, and then exploded. Like you wouldn't believe.
For those who haven't heard the story of the opportunistic predator, that is Fortnite, I heard about Fortnite from my son of a traitor whore old dog like 10 years ago. He's like, this is a game about zombies and tower defense and shit. It's like, oh, zombies and tower? Because it was
like Orcs Must Die. It was gonna be like Orcs Must Die.
Before that again. It was more the Call of Duty zombie defense mode kind of stuff.
Well, it was gameplay-wise. It was more.
Remained in development.
Yeah, but it was more like Orcs Must Die. Arch, don't be inaccurate.
No, it wasn't. You munch.
You'd never even played that shit thing.
For what? I have all of the Orcs Must Die. God, you little munchkin.
Oh my god, are you? I think there's leg because you're responding backwards.
In development for absolute ever. Until eventually, PUBG released. And they just decided, let's completely dump our entire game and just reuse all of the assets. And that was Fortnite. It even have the name, Fortnite. That was supposed to be a play on the word fort, as in fortress, you build your fortress, and night when the zombies come out.
Yep, Fortnite. They come out of Fortnite. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. Fortnite
also the
actually
reason why
did
they
look
had,
promising
the
back in the
building
day.
mechanics. The building mechanic that everybody kind of hated, and they've kind of talked about and done with it now. By the way, just as a point of fact here, I have dibs on playing April O'Neil in the Turtles game.
That's okay. That means we get to gangbang you. Okay.
No, that means I get to gangbang you.
It doesn't work that way.
It does work that way.
You got a hole that
April
needs
O'Neil
filling.
hides one hell of a weapon underneath that coat, I'll tell you.
Oh, shit. Yeah, we're gonna play the Turtles game. That's gonna be fun.
To be fair, I am fucking excited for that, because god, it looks like just good old-fashioned 90s fun, and oh, I miss that so much.
Yeah, a good old-fashioned brawler, side-scrolling brawler with multiplayer. It's I'll pull it up for chat so you can take a look at it. Arch and I are talking about this game. We're kind of looking forward to it. It's up to 6 players. They actually increased the player count, which is actually quite cool.
Yep, you've got Shredder and April O'Neil now too. And he's got all of the toys from the fucking 90s that I remember, like the retarded little helicopters and shit. Ugh. They've even got... So they can't use the actual song, so instead they've made a really bad cover.
No!
It's a really bad cover too. You listen to it and you're like... Okay, I'm gonna have to find the original version now.
But there's just not enough games like this, honestly. Sadness.
And see, this is also the reason why indie is still in that gold rush age, because for every Fortnite and every Among Us, etc., there's a game like this, and it's like it's just good, and you just love looking at it, and you're like, yes, yes, yes.
I mean, the art for this game looked great. Great sprite work too.
Oh yes. The art, the fidelity to the old style, you know, the fact that they add in all the goddamn toys and shit. Oh, it looks great. And to be fair, this developer has some other projects cooking as well that looks pretty cool.
Tribute Games Incorporated.
That is the perfect name, by the way, Tribute Games, because that is literally what they're doing. They're making tributes to old cool games.
Yeah, that's... I mean, they're accurate to their name, if nothing else, considering this is like a callback to that arcade era.
Yep. That's pretty goddamn cool. It's pretty goddamn cool. Hopefully, this will be more the direction of games, as interestingly enough, you know, E3's dying. The big mainstream video game giants are becoming less giant-y. Goddamn Activision Blizzard is a sad, silly little company now that produces Hearthstone.
And it gets smaller.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
hey,
it can,
look,
but
it's
not
Dev.
not under Microsoft. Not under Microsoft.
Look what showed up in chat, everyone. Gangbang them.
Oh god. Maybe that'll be the one game that Dev actually deigns to play with us.
No, not happening. It's Dev. Dev never shows
That's
up.
probably true.
Dev is the guy who's like, oh, let's collaborate, and then never happens every time. Trader Dev.
True.
Dev tells you one thing in the other year, and then what he does, he goes up to his other friends and he's like, these fucking losers want to collab with me. Whatever. Like, he's just an absolute bastard. You can tell. Dev is canceled. Hashtag cancel.
True as well. Though I will say that if you actually want to see the actual coverage of E3 at the moment, then you should go look at Dev, because Dev is doing that for some weird reason. I don't even know why.
Shilling Dev. I'd rather shill E3 at this rate. Trader Dev. Trader.
I shill you. I've already hit the bottom of the barrel.
Personally, I'm at the top. I'm the foamy deliciousness at the top. Yes.
What's that? I can't hear you all the way down there.
No. Like gold, I fell to the bottom then. The narrative changes. Let's go with the flow.
Drastically. See, here's the flip side though, because the optimistic view has been like, oh my god, the indies they're gonna rise to the top. We're gonna have indie video games. It's gonna be amazing. Here's the other option. right? Here's the other thing that can happen. Instead of E3, which was in many ways actually a fairly like egalitarian presence, you know, as long as you had the money and the connects, you could go to E3 and you could show off your little video game. Now you can show off your video game easier on Steam and streams, etc. But it also means that you actually have more segregation of the market. Like Capcom has their own stream, Sony has their own stream, Nintendo has their own stream, Bethesda has their own stream. They're stratifying. And simultaneously, these stratas are also beginning to combine in a handful of entities. Like, I would not be surprised if in 5-10 years' time, the video gaming market will basically be owned by 3 corporations. They'll own almost all of it. You'll have like the Microsofts and the Googles of gaming. You'll have NetEase, like Tencent, probably owning like 30%. Microsoft with another 30% slice, and then Nintendo sits somewhere else on a pile of unrelatedness. And like, we make Mario.
I agree when it comes to the companies, but I disagree when it comes to content creators. Content creators offer an alternative that was never before in existence for indies. It's a way to be advertised. For example, just talking to Arch, if you're an indie developer, and like the ones that come on here, it makes a huge difference. Like the power that people...
The amount of hate mail you'll get will be vastly different.
It's true, but the thing is, don't throw yourself to the sideline, Arch. Like, content creators offer an alternative, and a very growing and powerful alternative to these mainstream corporations.
I don't even know when I mentioned content creators, but that's another topic, I guess.
Well, it's connected. I'm adding it.
In part, yes, but the thing is, as the companies grow stronger, the content creators will grow less relevant. Well, at least the truly independent ones, because this already started with Bethesda being the first and foremost to go, we're just not going to send review copies to certain people we don't like, and now every company's doing it.
That's true. You're not wrong about that. But I'd say that a company that doesn't send review copies equally gets flagged by people. Because when people don't get their copies reviewed or get review copies, they generally go like, yeah, they didn't give me one. And they tell people, which makes people upset. And also makes people wary about it, especially their followings. The second wing of that is the content creators that are shills, right? The shills, like, when the game's bad, that person's reputation is taken and it's, like, run through the gutter. Absolutely. Like, the people that shilled for Total War Warhammer 3 and lied about it, all those Total War content creators... like, their reputation is ruined because of that game.
Well, I would say that it's certainly taken a bit of a pounding, but I wouldn't go so far as to say ruined.
I mean, it should be ruined. You should never trust any of those fuckers again.
Maybe you shouldn't, but reality and theories...
it's true. You do get the simps. They're like, well, he just didn't know that it was shit because he only played it for like 6 hours. And, it really takes, 10 hours to understand how really bad it is. Arch is blackpilling, I know.
For 10 hours, and I was like, yeah.
But don't worry, Kibbs will be your hope. Now you've been blackpilled. That's good. I got him to commit suicide. Welcome.
All right, we're going to have to move on to Super Chats and begin wrapping up because a new chapter of my Gender Bender manga just released, and that's very important.
Degeneracy at play.
Yes, degeneracy is good for the soul. Besides, I've kind of walked myself around on this topic I wanted to talk about anyways.
Walking in circles is fun.
Of gaming will be the next step. The golden age of indies will eventually end when Microsoft just leans down on the neck of everyone and goes like, Mario, make Mario. It's like, Mario. They just begin communicating like Pokemon. I believe that will be the logical endpoint of reality. Now, my back end has decided to fuck up, so it'll be interesting to see how many Super Chats I missed, but I'll try and go it by the donations page. Awkward silence as it loads. There you go. Chloe says, guys, it's your fault you listen to Dev. He is a Canadian. Rule of thumb is you never trust a Canadian. I thought the rule of thumb was you set them on fire whenever possible. Dev has not given us the opportunity yet. Although that could be the next story hook, The dev wakes up, smells of gasoline, there's a rat going over him. Will you come quietly, or will I have to set fire?
Little baby Dev. Dead. Dev came in here to steal some of your viewers, that's why. He's already gone.
Your pessimism means you're a bad person. Let's see. Oh, god damn it. I hate this backend. There we go. Mark Ashamed says, late hashtag breed Arch. No, breed Kips.
Arch Bendoger. Do it now.
He's the only one here with a womb.
No.
Doc says, chat, let us sing and dance the song of our people. Come and chat text with me. Kips is always late, for that is his fate. That's true.
Oh my fucking
God. Partly Sargon's fault this time too, but Kyle suddenly started having a long-winded ramble about beer and pretzels, and just like that was weird.
Listen, Sargon and I were talking about beer and pretzels. It was important. It had to be discussed. Okay, that's all you need to know, and it is important.
I know about that. Anyway, Coach says, I would like to formally complain that Kibbs is ruining the podcast on my birthday. Kibbs, please apologize. Yes, Kibbs, please do apologize.
I never apologize because you never give them an inch, they take a mile. But I will say happy birthday. Enjoy your cake, fatty.
Because you never give them an inch, they take a mile.
Never give them an inch or they'll take a mile. It's like what I say to, all those SJWs that attack people on Twitter.
That's not the saying, Kyle.
You don't.
If you give them an inch, they take a mile.
They will.
Yes, but that's not what you said.
Yeah, but that's what I meant. So,
Kyle,
I don't see a problem.
Hand, face.
You, face, mouth, dick, now. Come here.
This is one of the reasons why we can never make a streamer house. The amount of violence recorded on camera would be bad in a court of law.
Oh my god, we'd be sitting next to each other, and by the end of the stream, there's just black eyes. Broken nose.
I think we would have to need to sit at decent distances, but then projectile weaponry comes into play.
That's when there's ballistic glass to separate it. It's got like dents.
Occasionally, random things bounces off it, like pens, detritus scattered around the desk, wallets,
bullets.
I have 7 fucking wallets. I keep being given wallets for like Christmas and shit. I haven't used a wallet since I was 10, I think. I don't see the point of this.
My wallet's falling apart.
Why do you use a wallet?
Because unlike you, rich boy, I have to go places to buy things. Wait.
I use this thing I got for free for a sponsorship thing, which is this cool little thingy bob pocket thing. Like it's like magnets and things and stuff. I forget its name, but it's adorable. Trust me.
I see.
General Zizix says, I am returned. Bullying shall ensue. Punishment, one might even say. We might conduct a natural selection of every single hair from Kibbs's body with small tweezers as pain dealing lesson for hands.
Lesson for hands.
Cover ketchup in ketchup and then
shave him? You mean hands? Okay. Get it. I thought you were talking about just like regular hands, like, the ones on your body that wiggle around a little, that are painful to draw. True.
No. Rangi says, E3 has been shambling for years. I find I don't even buy new games unless they are exceptional or friends wish to play them. E3 just corpo marketing. Well, yeah, that's kind of the problem too. See, again, I must sing the praises of Total Butt Cancer and his grand saga, because Total Biscuit was the best video game reviewer, and still is. Like, nobody has ever gotten close to him when it comes to actual, ability to review video games well, and effectively, with his little, how do I put it, a personal opinion, can I say? He was very objective. I liked him a great deal. I watched all of his videos for a couple of years, and eventually I just stopped because I realized I didn't give a shit about the constant stream of fucking video games anymore. Like, he'd review some side-scrolling thingity-bob, and I'd be like, yeah, you reviewed this game last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that again. And I was just like, wow, there are so many games. And I can't even play half of them anymore. Like, I just don't care.
Yep, you've
And
kind
I
of.
feel like a lot of people might be ending up in that same kind of mental headspace.
Well, that's the thing. Like when you're gaming, right? You figure out what genres you like. Like I don't mind side scrollers, and a good side scroller can be really fun, actually. But often it's very mediocre, or it's kind of like it's too much of a clone of another one. You have to find one that's truly, standoutish. But but as time goes on, you refine your tastes, and you're like, okay, I like these kinds of games, or you'll play first person shooters, but you generally lean towards strategy games, things like that. As your tastes evolve as you grow.
Uh-huh. So I grew out of the need for reviews simply because I knew what I wanted, and frankly, I was getting so much of anything and everything that I just
Yep,
disengaged from
you,
90% of it.
you didn't know anymore or you didn't know anymore. You didn't need to know that
Well, I
anymore because you knew how to find what you wanted.
I didn't need the tips anymore because they were that many. Whereas back in the day, finding a good game was quite a bit of work.
It's a bit of hassle. I mean, it's okay. I sometimes look at certain channels where I'm like, channels that focus on finding gems in the rough. Those are the channels I find more interesting. Where it's like, ooh, there's a really
Gems
good
in the
gem.
rough.
Yep.
Not diamonds in the rough, mind you.
Yeah, gems, diamonds, like anything that's shiny is really valuable. Even a polished turd can have its refining qualities.
See, I've always wondered how when you look up a quote on YouTube, there's like 15, no, you did, but Google, there's like 15 different variants of it. And I'm like, how do people keep getting these quotes wrong all the time and writing them down officially? And, well, here's the reason.
It's not me. Firstly, polished gems or could be any type of valuable mineral. It doesn't have to be a diamond in the rough. Though it could be.
Sentinel Rex says, cons aren't dead, the mainstream is. People still have a desire to go to cons, but it should be 100% fan service, not corporate slating. Well, the problem with that is that the companies tend to also grow big heads. I mean, BlizzCon is a perfect example of that.
Yep. See, there was a point in time during Wrath of the Lich King where I was like, I always wanted to go to BlizzCon. Now I think about it, I'm like, hell no.
Like, that was the point in time when Kyle was like, I too would like to go and suck some developer cock in line.
Back
That's
then,
disgusting.
I thought Blizzard was cool. I thought they could do no wrong. And then I learned that if you let people who don't make video games and fun things do decision making, like Activision, all of a sudden your game turns into goddamn cancer. A corporate boardroom designed game. Even the stories are corporate now. Yes, this character is now good because it's time for them to be a good guy now. Okay. Okay.
Young Thinker One asks, is there an adult games presentation? No, sadly. We have yet to grow progressive enough as a society to do that, which is sad.
Oh, don't worry.
We should just have porn games front and center all the time.
They do that, but you know what they specifically do? It's only they, them, and gays. We don't get straight porn games. You notice that?
True.
You notice that? Fucking goddamn.
That is true.
This is discrimination of the highest order. The majority we're being discriminated against. We can't look at the fine breasts of many a fictitious character. This is not a good thing.
That is the they them games.
It is time to
I
riot.
saw a wonderful furry porn game a little while ago that was
Don't
quite
use the word wonderful.
majestic in its presentation. I believe it was like World War II styled. It was like furry knots the Nazis or something. It's like that's that title.
That sounds horrific, and I need not know more. We can carry on with this conversation about other things. Yes.
Well, it was primarily gifting in like Nazi uniforms that I think was the pitch of the game.
That's still horrible, but at least it wasn't as horrible as it could be, I suppose.
Which, I mean, I see the appeal, I suppose. It's like, I don't like the Nazis. I don't like the Nazis either. Would you like to see them as animals? What? Would you like to see them fuck each other as animals? Hold on. And then it just kind of continues on from there. That was the moment that young Timothy revealed himself to his friends and family as a deviant.
Yes, Squealy. I know they've been recommending me a hentai game, and I'm not playing it. The answer is no.
Also, Chivalry 2 is releasing on Steam today, actually. Interesting. That was kind of fun.
An Epic Games exclusive? To be fair, I did pick up Satisfactory because my autism needs more tickling.
So, you're a bitch ass. Okay, then Chivalry might be on the table because Chivalry was quite a bit of fun when I played it.
Wow.
When I was given that. I own Chivalry too, but I owned it on Epic because that's where I was given the key for it. And I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not keeping Epic on my computer.
I had to download Epic because we covered goddamn Genshin. God damn it. Still mad about it.
Good.
Mm.
Yeah, Chivalry might be fun. It's one of those games that when you play it, you're like, I hate this game. I hate everyone who plays it. I hate the developers. I hate their friends. I hate their family. I hate their pets. But then you finish playing it and you're like, kind of want to do that some more.
See, games like that are fun. Games like Halo 3 or those arena brawly games, like this Chivalry thing, we could do like maybe a little community event. We could beat the shit out of each other. That could be endearing and fun.
Yes. So long as I have the ability to ban anyone.
Jake, you are too high on the scoreboard. Right.
Farewell.
Oh, look at me, I'm on the top now. Arch is in a room by himself.
Mark Shame says, Quantum TV only attacked other YouTubers where the Act Man challenged Google. Big Tech doesn't tolerate dissidents. This is a topic we cannot speak about, Mark Shame. You must be small and shamed into a corner. I have watched the Act Man drama a little bit, and all I can say is it's a tremendous amount of bullshit. Though Act Man did that tweet he made, that was Neanderthal level brain dead. That was it was a joke, but it was the kind of joke that gets you completely removed from the internet, and he should have known better. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about it because people who literally mention it are getting yeeted at the moment, so you'll excuse my cowardice. I'll channel Kyle for a second there.
Actually, no. See, there's a reason. But shut the fuck up, you blonde shit. There's a reason why we do that. Because again,
Kyle leaps in. I'm not a coward. I'm a realist.
And you gotta be on YouTube. We don't have the power to say what we want. I would love to let Strato tell us all about all the various N-word things, and he's a black man, and he likes picking cotton. He said so several times, but I cannot let him say the other things that he normally says because Susan doesn't care if he is black. It's not about who can say what. It's all about controlling who can say or speak.
And even more importantly, chat is asking what I'm going to play Hatsune Miku Megu Mix.
One of our artists.
The answer to that is when I get the ability to stream, and when I get like $1,000 donation. There you go.
Yes, you need to stream it on your main channel.
I have embraced the fact that when I finally do get to do streaming, I'm going to stream something I enjoy, like Songs of Six or Command Modern Operations. And somebody's going to be, wouldn't it be fun if Arch played something really stupid? And chat goes like, yeah, let's start a donation fund. And then I'll feel bad and be like, okay, today we're playing fucking Hatsune Miku Mega Mix. Or the next week after, Bronies, My Little Adventure Game. Oh.
I know, right? It's great. See, you got to embrace this, because $4,000 to play fishing minigames, like, originally I was reluctant, but there is a price for everything, I must admit. I will engage in fishing minigames for the right price.
I'll say this, though. It'll be very cheap to get me to play Hearts of Iron Brony mod with Kyle.
No. That's cheap for you. I expect $100 at least.
You'll get 50% of the donation price. It'll probably be about $1.
Probably about $1, he says. Dollar with 100 behind it.
I think actually you agreed to playing the Equestria mod in return for me playing Kaiserreich.
What? No, that was to get you to do Road to 56. You were willing to do Kaiserreich willingly because you're weak.
No, Road to 56. I've never agreed to that.
Exactly. That's why we need to make an agreement about that.
Yeah, Equestria.
Yeah, there you go. Road to 56 in exchange for Equestria. Deal.
There you go.
I hate you, but I'll get over it.
There we go. Equestria. It'll be... No, there wasn't Road to 56. It was All the World Blues, wasn't it?
What? I didn't need to make a deal for that. You're the one who wanted to do that. The one I want you to do is Road to 56, because I told you, France, you could do the Bonapartists, and you got excited.
That would be funny, yeah.
You can also do the Orleanists if you want. The Bonapartist is way cooler, though.
The Grizzlies say, RTS will continue to be dead genre as long as the devs making them continue trying to completely remake what an RTS is. Do you remember Grey Goo, Active Aggression? Oh, what about Alien Storm? No? Just make an RTS, guys. To be fair, that's a very good point. Like, I would just like an RTS, frankly.
Yes.
Like, I don't need you to reinvent the wheel. I would just like an RTS. That'd be cool.
A good one. A
Like,
good
fun.
one.
Make me Supreme Commander, but not Ashes of Singularity. I'd be all over that.
Yeah. Ashes of Singularity was boring, to say the least.
Certainly was a thing. I mean, if I have to ever pick up Football Manager to play a strategy game, that's the day when suicide will be had.
The desperate days. What are you doing, Arch? I'm playing this new Football Manager game.
you could easily pay me to play Football Manager on stream too, you know? Just pay me the price of the game plus like 10% and I'll play it. And
That's
you'll
too
be
cheap,
like, hey,
Arch.
my
Higher.
favorite team. And then I'll sell all of the good players and I'll just buy Cameroonians or something.
You're like,
This
how
man's
fast can
name
I
is
lose?
Lubunga Labulaway. He's going to be my forward.
You could just play those games and try to break records on how fast you can lose.
That'd be kind of funny, yeah. Be amusing in his own retarded way. Kerman says, Trellen den har vært underholdende og morsom, så her har du litt tips for underholdning. Skal du prøve Ark Fjordør? No. Ark is on back burner now for a year or two again.
We got Conan coming up after Eco, and after Conan, we've got either Barotrauma or V Rising.
God. Eco, what a silly game.
Eco's fun.
You owe me a lot for that. Scarfy the Strange says mobile games can take advantage of mobile features such as the camera for augmented reality or geolocation for games like Ingress or Pokemon Go, if you're a normie. Pokemon Go was another one of those enormous video games that managed to break it enormous because they were like, would you like to collect Pokemon? And everyone secretly is like, yes. Now, I would like a Digimon Go, because I was always a fan of Digimon. Digimon's adult Pokemon. I like Digimon.
I thought it was Digimon. I'm very confused with the pronunciation now.
I like Digimon because it makes them sound diggy.
Diggy.
Yeah. And that one Digimon, the little orange one, the main character's Digimon, has like these shovel arms. So I always thought he was a Digimon. He digs.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That
There you go.
sounds special.
There's the rationale. Lord of the Possum says, watching Star Wars 2. Best Star Wars. Yes. He also says, Arch is good guy. Kyle, remember that, Kyle. Kyle does not remember. Kyle only ruins things, breaks back ends and streaming setups. Lord of the Possum says, remember to spread love, chat. Love yourself, chat. Good. You may love yourself, but not with your hands.
Look at that, chat's like,
That's-
Kibbs is correct. Then they proceed to realize that Kibbs has always been right. Like,
I don't know about that, but I'm sure chat agrees that Digimon is the only true Pokemon. Pershing Chaffee says, I'm pissed off that the new Code VR mod will be in PlayStation VR, COD, I guess. The mod will be in PlayStation VR only and not PC VR as far as we know at this current time. Well, you know, a little bit of gatekeeping of features, always beneficial. Always good. Hello, the Possum says, love is the only way, chat, and I love my family, Arch. I hope you don't love them too much, though. You know, limitations in love.
it's time for them to go to heaven. Yes.
You must be careful with how much. Mark Shame for a very generous $50 says, I still believe as their AAA game industry moves to a crash, the hobbyist developers on all the UE3 engines will keep games alive, which is why I prefer games like Renegade X, Angels Fall First, and mods to Star Wars Empire of War Expanded. Oh yeah, they'll absolutely be able to keep gaming alive, no matter what happens to the rest of it.
Yep, gaming has become too big. Like in the NES crash, or was it before the NES or whatever? Like that crash was because there was no alternative. There was only a few companies that even made games, and so when they went tits up, they all were like, "Oh, it's a gaming crash." It's too big now to really crash. The big companies can crash, But there's so many little companies that they'll just eat up the what's left, really. Like Focus Home Interactive, the AA developers or publishers, not developers. Arch thinking here. Pinkies.
Actually, I'm looking over a list of the strongest Digimons.
God fucking. This Digimon is the strongest.
Apparently, Huanglongamong. It's the name of a Digimon. These names are pretty stupid. Jessimon. Alphamon. Omnimon. X. Z Millenniummon.
God help me.
Yeah, these are pretty dumb. I can't lie. Lord Possum says, Star Wars sucks today. Why? Because we have shows like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yep.
That's why. Literally.
Yeah, how could this happen?
Possum says, Kyle, when game done, I won't buy it, but I will support you in making it. I believe in Kyle. Kyle will one day make a game. One day. I want better games. Today's game sucks.
Well, thank you. I guess. Because I won't buy it, but I will support you. Fair enough, I suppose. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. It comes out when it comes out.
CGI Lantern says, 2 Arch for pig bacon. For pig bacon.
Pigs and bacon. I mean...
Are the... Well, I mean, there was a truck of peas attack in Sweden not long ago, so I suppose it's for self-defense. Nailed to my outside of my house.
It's like garlic for vampires, but you gotta put it on like your doormat. A little piece of bacon.
House covered in bacon. Why? Well, you know.
It prevents the terrorists from attacking. That's one way to get rid of terrorism. Just make every bit of food in your country pork-based. Also, what was it?
Rice?
Was that a rumor or was that true, Arch? That one U.S. garrison, or was it U.S. garrison? I don't remember. In some place, they dipped their dipped their bullets in pork blood, and that caused the Muslims stopped rioting because they're like. I think that's more of a myth, but I like the idea of it. Pork-based bullets. Wink, wink.
Shame on you.
You don't like that? What? What are you? Are you gay? Get out of here.
Lordy the Possum says, remember when Princess Leia was a good character? No.
I remember.
Lord the Possum says many, many things. I want old Star Wars back. He says Leia was a good, strong female character. Yeah, to be fair, she was. Hi Arch, thoughts on Kyle?
Pretty cool.
He ruins my streams.
Wow.
He's like a virus. He's a bug, not a feature.
Wow. But hey, that's part of being a feature in current days.
Supposedly. Lord Possum says, also, China versus Star Wars. Who wins? China. More dudes, and they can aim better. Unironically true. Oh, hey. A dude was hit in the head by a golf ball at a golf tournament, and he's still alive. That's good.
Interesting.
I'm just watching the ball impact a bunny skull.
Uh-huh.
That does look like it hurts.
That does look like it hurts. Fair enough. Yeah, golf ball hitting you in the head will hurt. That's why they normally yell 4 to give a heads up that a ball has been dispatched across the field at high velocity.
Well, apparently he didn't pay attention, I guess. In the meantime, so chat has something to look at. There you go.
Your love of walruses is something that I always found fascinating.
Lord of the Possum says, watching Star Wars 2, love Yoda. Yoda is a good boy. Yoda vs. R2-D2 is great. Love the puppet. Marcus Low. Hello, Watch. I've been wondering for some time now if you would consider covering the Uriel Ventress books, as these are the entire reason that many people, including myself, even got into the hobby to begin with. Maybe. Ah, God. Doing one of the book series, though, would require a lot of time, and it would require a lot of reading, and I'm busy reading a lot of other things at the moment. So maybe at some point when I have more reading time. Homeworld 3 was delayed. Makes sense. Lord of the Apostles, best female characters that are also hot. Lara Croft. There you go.
Yeah, that works. She got progressively downgraded as time went on, but, you know, details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, says chat. It's true.
He's like, where's my third breakfast? Where's... Bump.
The story behind this picture, by the way, was that it was just another day in Norway. So a family was like, let's go down, have a trip in our boat. And there was a walrus in the boat. And it was just like, no, mine now.
No.
And so they called the fire department, as you do when a walrus is sinking your ship, of course. And the fire department were just like, I mean, sure, it's Norway. It's not like there's any fires or anything. I mean,
what else are we
nothing
gonna
actually
do?
happened here. So they rolled out with like a fire truck and shit, and they couldn't really do anything because this is on a pier. So the firefighters just had to like walk out onto the pier and like talk to the walrus, like, "Hey, could you move?" And he was just like, "Honk."
Look at the water. It's wet over there. You want to get wet?
Yeah. And that lasted for about 6 hours until they basically gave up. And the walrus is still there.
Still there today? Yep. Yeah. Been there for 30 years.
The walrus has found the boat to be remarkably comfortable. Now, on the bright side, the insurance company has said that they are looking into the case, but this is not normally covered by the policy. You know, sunk by a walrus is not a normal policy procedure, but they may be willing to consider this a natural act, since the walrus has been observed to be
a natural phenomenon. You don't fucking say. An American family would have just shot him and pushed him into the sea. What do you know? No. They would have shot him, then hauled the corpse in the truck, and then fried him up.
There's another lovely picture of how comfortable the walrus is having it for chat to awe and ooh at. Whilst I reload the goddamn back end again.
He's dead. He died in that picture. He passed away.
No super chats, no stickers. So don't lie to me, thing. I know. Dev would be the fat guy in Arch's NTR. Yes, so long as I'm the one doing the NTRing. Mark James says, breed Dev. That would be a feat. Could you even reach his cheeks? A lot of the opossums, he's on a roll today. Kyle, tell Dev he can breed you.
Look at possums. He's a little horny today. Get the horny stick, champ.
He also says, I love Arch. Please don't Clinton yourself. It's good advice. Leia is prettier than Dev and Kyle. I agree. But not as pretty as the walrus.
Damn.
The walrus does look mightily comfortable, doesn't he? Does Arby's have the meats? I don't even know the reference. Today's commercials suck. Yes, I agree.
God damn it, possums. Yeah. Sometimes possums is drunk. This is what happens.
He might be.
I think he definitely
is. Space Monkey 0899 says, I find that heavily modded Bethesda games, especially Fallout New Vegas, to be more interesting than modern gaming. Probably true as well. I mean, New Vegas was a bolt from the blue, because Obsidian has never made anything quite as good since. That was a pure coincidence caused by ridiculous deadlines and caffeine abuse.
One-hit wonders, as they're called. Just managed to crank one out that wasn't, well, what they've been making lately.
Glow in the Dark says he need not know more. Good one, Kibbs. Stefan Mess says, I vote for Life is Strange, Arch. Ha, that's the one game you cannot get me to play.
He has a price, chat. It's all about finding it. See, I said that too when people were like, play Fire Warrior for the 3rd time. And I'm like, no. And I got $1,000. I'm like, okay. Everyone has a price. It's just Archers might be a little high. He's silent. He's silent because he's not saying no, because I'm right, chat. There is a price. There is a number.
Right.
That's something I learned from our fat friend Bubbles, our morbidly obese friend who's dead from cholesterol, is that everyone has a price, including Arch.
Dead from inflation, remember.
Bloated up like a balloon he did.
Glow in the Dark says, first Boog comes out as Mexican, now Strato comes out as black. This diversity nonsense is getting out of hand. Next you would tell me is Disco is a woman, which is impossible because women don't exist online. No, I can guarantee you Disco is not a woman. Marked Ashamed, I'm still shilling for Angels Fall first. Need a single player co-op experience. Just turn on the bots. There you go, Carl. Let's do it.
I did do that. The bots aren't very intelligent.
I'd imagine. Careful, Doug let chat buy things, and they spent $1,000 on fat Albert posters and ball pit balls. I can see chat doing the same to you. See, I get most of my shit delivered to the family company because literally the postal service can't find where I live. So my father and mother get a first look at anything that comes delivered to me. Like they've had a lot of fun with, for example, the Manscaped ads, where I get sent boxer shorts and they just like, you need more pants, huh? It's a little bit weird. This one's gold. If I start getting sent ball pits, I would have trouble. I would have trouble in the family. Go in the Dark says, how much is Football Manager game, guys? Nobody knows. And lastly, John McCalla says, money for Kibbs to buy coffee brand coffee. Coffee brand coffee.
Coffee brand coffee. Like, that sounds pretty bland.
Yes,
Exotic.
it kind of does. Marked Ashamed. Okay, Kibbs, Arch, AFF, stream, name your price.
What's AFF?
Angels Fall first.
Angels Fall first?
Kyle's already promised you to do that. You don't need to even pay him. He just does it.
I never promised no such thing. Barch, how much money do you want of the percentage?
See, chat, I'll tell you this. If you start sending me like real dolls, okay, like the high-end sex dolls, then I don't even care if my family sees it, because I can literally just go like, yeah, the chat sends me this, and I can resell them for like $5,000, and they'll understand.
And then we won't resell them, chat. He's not reselling them. It's like, no.
It depends on how many. Like, if they start filling up a closet, like, this is a bit creepy. Plus, if the cops ever knock on my door for any reason and they find a closet full of, like, real doll limbs and heads and shit, nah, that'd be complicated. That would be complicated. It really would.
That sounds a bit special. I think that Barge hasn't given me an answer, though. What's the number? Because there is a number. You just need to tell me. What is the magic number, Barge? Angels Fall first. First-person shooter game. What's the magic number, Barge?
Real dolls have grown to look remarkably realistic.
What's the number, Blondie? He's like, no, Barge don't want to play it. You can tell when he doesn't want to do something. He gets very...
It might even have hit Uncanny Valley territory.
Obfuscates, changes the subject, pretends to talk about other things. He's like, meh. He gets bashful, chat.
Look at this one.
Very
This one
bashful.
has articulated fingers.
Ooh, yeah, I can wrap it around things that you never thought possible. It's terrible.
Distraction successfully carried out. Thank you, everyone, very much for watching. And I hope to see you all again soon, but not tomorrow, because Dev's E3.
Actually,
However,
wait, we'll be
the
streaming.
day, the week after that.
Chill me, you blonde whore. You'll be there.
Let's see. Let's shilling. Okay, Real Doll X was made to fall in love. Find your personal companion today. There you go. I'm shilled it.
No, you little whore. I hate you.
To be fair, I would do ads for Real Doll. Just simply, again, because of the... Have you seen the price tag on those fucking things? I could earn, like, a month's salary on one resell. Okay?
Are we still live?
A girl has to be realistic.
Because he does this sometimes if I'm talking to anybody or I'm talking to myself. I don't know. Either way, he does this where he just keeps going. He just keeps...
Arch's Real Doll reviews.
Yep,
yes.
he's really live. Okay.
Real Doll Kids.
Really Gibbs doll? Oh no. How about Aerith doll?
The Kibbs doll.
There you go. Aerith.
I mean, we could go one step beyond. I know there's a Sargon Dakimakura. If we could make a Kibbs Real Doll, that would be one step beyond.
Oh no. Let's rethink our life choices.
I don't think any company would be stupid enough to make that model, though. But now, thank you again, everyone, for watching, and no interruptions this time, Kyle. Otherwise, we'll have to go back and revisit the Kyle
Answer
Real
that
Doll
Angel
problem.
Falls first game. What was his question? He paid for you to ask. Don't be rude. Answer the question. How much? What's the price? Tell him, Arch. Tell him. He's not doing it.
Good night.
No, tell him. Tell him, you little blonde whore.